Happy Monday, everybody! Welcome back to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends giggle, snort, recap, and review their way through a new romance novel each week. This week, before we get into the actual book, I have a couple of Patreon shout-outs. First, Tiffany A. You are a phoenix. Your powers of rejuvenation make sure you're never down for long. Whether it's a momentary lapse or a huge loss, you always have it in you to bounce back. Even at your most decrepit and downtrodden, you need look no further than your own inner beauty and ability to set you right. And Elizabeth S., you are a water sprite. Your dazzling personality and playful nature make you a delight to be around, and friendship with you is just as flowing and deep as the waters you inhabit. When rough currents hit, you know how to strike a healthy balance of go with the flow and swim for your life. And everyone better take note. When you're pushed, your bite is just as bad as your bark. All right, this week we have a delightful contemporary tale of two millennials and a wrong number. It's quick, deep, and fabulously sexy. Plus, Harry Potter boxers. Let's do this thing. Pig roast.
Pig roast, pig roast, pig roast.
Tell me all about pig roast.
Oh my god. Pig roast was crazy. We dug the big thing. We put in the coals. We burned the wood for like 3 hours to get so much wood. So we had like 6 to 8 inches of coals. Then we went to the butcher shop. We got the pig. The pig was still a little bit frozen. Oh no. What do we do? They said that it wasn't going to be, they said it was a fresh kill pig, but it was frozen a little bit. So we're like, oh no, what do? We have to get this pig in because the people are coming. Yeah. So then, when I say we, I really mean like a group of men that I'm not really even, I'm like kind of taking pictures. I'm drinking coffee off to the side. I'm like,
yes.
Good wood splitting. Good job, guys. Like, I'm not, when I say we, it's a very loose we.
Yeah, I thought some guests were there already. That's good.
Yeah, it's a pig roasting committee of like 4. So this is not, I'm just kind of around. I'm like, cooking up my mac and cheese. I'm doing other stuff, really. Women's work. So, they have the pig, they wrap it, they do what do? Oh, first we put the stones into the thing. Yes. Put the stones in there so they can get nice and hot. Put some extra stones in. We slice the legs up and put some stones in the legs. We slice some other parts up and rub salt in them. Rub salt in the pig cavity.
Carcass.
What else happens? Then we wrap it in some tin foil. Here's how this was supposed to go down. Thermometer
I thought you were going to use... Yeah, go ahead.
Thermometer in, then tin foil, then chicken wire, then banana leaves. How this really went down is tin foil, chicken wire. Oh shit, we forgot the thermometer. Then we put banana leaves down in the bottom of the pit. Then you put the pig in with a chain and then some water. You're supposed to put in 3 gallons of water into the pit for the steams.
Yep. It's got to steam right up.
Yeah. Then you buried that pig.
Then you bury that shit.
Pig went in.
Get your shovels out, men's.
Yeah. Pig went in roughly 1100. Guests are arriving at 1830. We need to get that pig out by 1930, okay? So we think a good 8.5 hours of roasting.
Here's the hardest thing about military math for me. I cannot do math fast enough to know what the fuck that time is. I think that's 7:30.
7:30 is when the pig is being exhumed.
All right, okay. Good. And let me just have that noted for the record that it took me through that whole sentence to do the mental math.
It's just minus 2. 12.
What?
12. Yeah, it's just, you just minus it by 12. 12? 2.
Why did you say 2?
Because I always minus 2, and then whatever the number is that's there, that's
10
the number.
Less?
Yeah. So if you're like, it's 19, what is it really? 7. 9 minus 7, 2. We are off track.
Sorry.
So, the temperature in the pig is rising consistently. We're like, this is good stuff. This is good stuff.
Good to go.
Around 3 to 4 p.m. See how I went back to regular standard time for you? 4 p.m. Pig hits 120, levels out. Stays at 120 until...
No.
That's Fahrenheit, y'all. We're Americans. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I refuse to do that math.
Cannot, and pigs, I will not. And I'm sorry.
Pigs should be at like 145.
Pigs should be at 180 according to the internet if you're doing a pig roast.
Interesting.
Yeah, because you just got the you're cooking a whole pig. You just got the thermometer in one.
You're
place.
Totally right.
And I'm saying this from saying to David, well, that's only 20 degrees. They just have to be 145. And he was like, it's 180 if you're doing
Erin.
a pig roast. So I corrected you with the same level of derision. Don't you love that? When you learn a fact, you start correcting people with that fact like they're idiots. Yeah. Come on, Mel. We didn't know what to do, and we're like, oh, maybe the thermometer's stuck on the tinfoil. You know, tinfoil doesn't get very hot. An engineer friend of ours said that was maybe the issue. It was very scary.
Yeah, because you don't want to poison all your guests.
Yeah, there's straight up 50 people at our house.
Oh, dearest.
And I'm churning out that mac and cheese. I'm churning out the carbs. And I'm just like, it's going to be great. We dig up that pig. That pig is 120 degrees. We do not know what happened. We followed everything to the T.
Uh-oh. So what happened?
We butchered up that pig and put it on the grill. Ate those
Good.
cracklings. It was delicious.
There you go.
It was delicious, but it was 9 p.m. delicious. You know, it was it was late. Some people who were kids had to leave before the pig got exhumed. That sucked. And we felt...
That's what they get for having kids, am I right?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's how I feel, Melody.
That's
finally
your choice.
Coming around on these, like, your parents, that's on you mindset.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that was how pig roast was. I woke up this morning to record this podcast. Well, first read this book and record this podcast, as if I haven't had like 4 solid weeks to read this book. And I felt so hungover.
Oh, okay.
And there were people at our house until like 1 a.m.-ish, but it was all outside, so then we had to clean everything up.
Guys, I got a text from Erin like 2 hours before we were supposed to record, being like, hey, are you okay? Haven't heard from you. Are we recording? And I was like, Erin's not ready. No, I know.
I hadn't heard from you.
No, I know.
And I sent you a very important text.
You did?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
About Li Shang.
Oh. I don't think I got that.
Yeah. Open up your phone right now.
It's about Li Shang? How dare I miss that?
Yeah, that's why I thought something was wrong. I'm going to take this time to say that I woke up hungover and I had 2 beers yesterday. It was all sugar. I had like a too much cake hangover today, and I'm still feeling it. Like, I still don't feel good.
Oh, yeah, it's about the live-action Mulan movie.
Mm-hmm.
Li Shang is removed from the live-action Mulan? How is that even possible? He's an integral part.
Mm-hmm.
What? Mushu isn't in the... Oh, Witch Sister is added? Get out of here. I don't need no thievery or bandits. I need Li Shang. I need Mushu. I need all the iconic songs. How dare they? So, I might have to protest this thing, even if it's full of Asian actors I love. How dare they? So, no wonder you thought I was dead.
No, yeah, I saw that tweet. Like 2 days ago about how there isn't going to be a Li Shang or a Mushu in the Mulan movie. In fact, the only character save Mulan that's coming back is the Emperor of China. Who the fuck cares? It's just Mulan and the Emperor. And they're giving Mulan superpowers, which is also a problem. So, first of all, I saw this tweet. I retweeted it from our Heaving Bosoms account, and I'm trying to write a comment. I'm trying to write in all caps, indignant comment.
Yeah.
Why can't I talk today? Did you hear how long it took me to say ginger snaps earlier? It was crazy. I was like saying vagina snaps. It was awful. Anyway, I'm trying to do this tweet, and I'm like, I can't do this. Melody has to do this tweet. So I sent it to her, and I sent her the tweet, and I'm like, I need you to respond to this on Twitter because I can't with appropriate outrage. Radio fucking silence for 2 days.
God.
Nothing.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So
I'm sorry to the world.
You were just like, blah, blah, blah. Erin sent me some shit. Whatever.
No, I don't think I saw it.
I don't like her anymore or something.
No, I think maybe I thought we broke up. I don't know.
Let's do a fight. Let's do this.
On air, throw down. Wow. It's like I died.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I don't know what my brain is doing lately, but actually, I know exactly what my brain is doing lately, so you will find out in my lady loves. Get ready. Okay, we gotta talk about this fabulous little contemporary book that reminded me of the first 6 months of my relationship with Michael.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Didn't you like it? You didn't like it?
I don't like anything anymore, you guys. I think I'm turning into like a curmudgeon. What was the last book I liked?
Did you tell someone to get off your lawn yesterday?
Ooh. Everyone was on my lawn. There was no way. Yeah.
You were like, at 1 a.m., you were like, don't you have kids to get home to? Oh, no, they already left.
No, honestly, what was nice was kind of like, what was left was kind of my inner circle of friends, which was nice
cool.
at 1 a.m. But, okay, so here's the thing, and I want to say this without insulting you.
Don't worry about it.
Because now it sounds like you took this book in a deeply personal way.
No, I didn't. It just was a happy reminder.
Oh, wait, we read Let's Get Textual by
Teagan Hunter.
All right.
Yeah.
This book was very cute, had a lot of lols. I did a lot of lols.
Yeah, there was a lot of banter.
Yeah, it was
snappy banter.
There's 2 problems in this book.
Tell me all about it.
The first one is there wasn't any conflict for like 80% of the book.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And I can find a book charming when there isn't any conflict, but the second thing kind of like prevented me from loving it despite that.
Okay.
And the second thing is I have this deep pet peeve. Oh, God, it's going to make me sound so bad. Let's just... Oh, God. Okay, here we go. That is people thinking that they are special for universally shared experiences.
Okay.
The thing of like, were you a 90s kid? You'll love this top 10 list. And I'm like, that's fucking everybody. You can't be like, you play with Polly Pockets? Me too. Now we're best friends. It's like everybody fucking did. Like, just get off, find something you actually are in common, you know. You know, right. I love brunch. Everybody loves brunch. It doesn't make you fucking quirky.
That doesn't make you friends.
Right. I hate it. And that, I felt like, was most of the connection with these two. It was like, you watched Kenan and Kel? Me too. You like Netflix? Also me. Well, I've never met anyone in the world that loves this stuff and gets me as much as you do. I don't know. It's just like, that's kind of how a lot of it felt.
How
a lot
funny.
Of it was cute too, though. It was just like, you're sarcastic? Oh, gosh. I've searched the world for a woman who's sarcastic. I don't know. I liked both of them. It was cute. It was snappy. There was a lot of back and forth, but there was a lot of that. There was a lot of like,
yeah, I think I just forgave that
stuff
because of just their unbridled enthusiasm for each other. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and
yeah.
especially like from such an outlandish start. I don't know. I just dug it. Not to mention that the only reason it really reminds me of Michael and I is just because we were long distance for the first 6 months of our relationship. We knew each other. We didn't like have an accidental meeting. But since we were long distance for the first 6 months, a lot of our relationship was just fully getting to know each other. Because I don't know if, you know what, this is pretty on brand. A lot of times in in-person relationships, I will overlook a lot if the sex is good. So I often get distracted by bedroom antics and fun outings that I can have with literally any person.
In our last episode about somebody who you didn't like anything he'd ever say, but you just continued to date him for a long time.
Not for a long time, for a couple of weeks.
Right.
And that's because our pheromones matched so hard, and the bedroom antics also matched pretty darn well. Yeah, so because of that, like, I actually had to, like, all of our relationship was conversations on the phone and text messages, and it really gave us a nice, solid foundation with, like, only a weekend here or there where things would get physical, and then we'd have to go back to getting to know each other. So that's why...
That's great.
That's why I like this book. Okay, so we've got Delia and Zach. Also, I think I disagree with the author on how to pronounce her name, and I'm not going to apologize for it.
No, don't do this.
No, not the author's name, the character's name.
No, but like, what was the other book where we each had our own interpretation of how to pronounce the protagonist's name? Oh, it was the Helen K. Diamond book, the Under the Wire, Over
Under the Wire.
Outside the Wire. everywhere.
Yeah.
The Wire.
Everywhere but The Wire.
Yeah, anywhere that The Wire isn't. By Helen K. Diamond. No, but I thought it was like Mia or something. And you thought it was Maya.
Right.
And I don't think that was the name, but we basically had to pick one. So we got to pick one at the start.
Well, listen, it's Delia. In the book at some point, the dude is explaining how to say her name to someone else, and he says Delia, but I just don't agree. It's Delia. That's how it's spelled.
Wait,
Delia. Delia.
Delia.
Delia or Delia. I think it's Delia.
Both of those words sound exactly the same to me.
No. So, Zach and Delia, that starts out, Delia is actually dating someone else, and the whole first chapter is her breaking up with her boyfriend of 6 months. It's really, kind of sad and bittersweet because they're really, good people, and neither of them want to hurt each other, but they just don't work as romantic partners. So it's kind of nice. I thought it was nice, actually, to see, this amicable breakup where each person was mature and okay.
I don't know.
You just didn't care?
I just maybe had a bee in my bonnet. Or I have
you
months.
did have a corneal abrasion. So...
Sure, yeah, the bee.
You have not been super comfy this week, Erin. This is the first time I've seen you without an eye patch on. A literal eye patch.
We do. A lot of people made light of my corneal abrasion. I don't know. If you guys aren't on my our social media, you probably don't even know about this, but I had a tiny piece of plastic wedged in my cornea for 3 days. But a lot of our listeners were commenting
in my bonnet
that we ought to do a pirate romance this week instead of Let's Get Textual. And I was like, we have one though. There's one on the list. There's
a really?
Pirate romance, yeah.
Well,
but
I
it's
just
not
made up for
soon.
it by only texting you in pirate speak for a little while. That was fun.
Fair. Okay, but anyway,
so I understand why you're a little bit.
Yeah, maybe I had a corneal abrasion this week, but
right.
I just felt like it was not. This breakup was not super realistic or something. I was just kind of like.
And that's coming from a person that is actually friends with more exes than I can even fathom. I don't think I'm friends with any of my exes. We're nice to each other, but we're not friends. You and exes will call each other and have actual conversations and keep up with each other's lives.
Fair.
I don't do that with anybody.
Fair.
It's interesting that you, of all people, would be like, this breakup was too nice.
Yeah, but even the exes that I am friends with, we didn't have hey, one night. So what happens between these two, Delia and Caleb, is one night she's just like, hey, it's not really working out. Do you think we ought to break up? And he's like, yeah, I think we should. And then they cry a little together and they're like,
and they have a final snuggle.
Yeah, they do a smooch and they kind of just shake hands and part ways. And then the next day they're friends. I definitely never had a breakup like that.
Oh, you took some time, of course.
Nah, I just took a lot of I don't know. I just feel like you never just break up and you're not I don't know. They didn't even have a conversation about what wasn't working. They were just we're better as friends.
Huh. Yeah, I guess that's true. But I think that's also the merits of we don't need to know about their relationship. I don't give a shit about their 6-month relationship.
Yeah.
I just care about the relationship they have going forward because that's all that's pertinent to the plot.
That's
so fair. Anyway, she breaks up with her boyfriend. He leaves in the morning. And then that day she gets a random text that's like, hey, are we good for our meeting on Tuesday? And she's like, oh, this is weird. My stupid brother lost his phone again, I guess, because it's a new number. But she had a meeting for roughly the same time with her brother on the same day. And so she was just like, yep, good to go. What time again? And he confirms. And she's like, it's a little bit off, but whatever. That's fine. And then just gets forgotten. And then a little while later, he's like, hey, I've got to reschedule. And she's like, okay, cool. Sounds good. And then I guess her brother also reschedules with her over the phone. And so she's like, weird that he would mention it twice, but fine. Also, the brother calls from his landline. So that's why she doesn't know about the different number situation.
Right.
And then she's on campus, sitting on a bench, and gets a call from this random number. And he's like, who is this? basically.
Well, she's kind of a little bit mopey because I don't know what kind of college she goes to, but she and her boyfriend Caleb, apparently the baseball team is just the sexiest thing there's ever been, and Caleb was the star of it, and he's somebody and she's nobody. Like, there's this whole thing about, like, she was intimidated by him because he was somebody, but she's also kind of like a bitch to him when they met. They do a flashback to how they met. But she's like, we were voted the cutest couple on campus and the couple most likely to make it. I'm like, what college are you going to?
I know.
I've never voted for cutest couple on campus. That's never been a thing.
No. That's like only a high school yearbook thing, but that's fine.
Even then, like, I don't think that high school yearbooks have couple most likely to make it.
Yeah, I guess
but not. She says it was in their, like, campus gossip magazine, which, I don't know, maybe I just went to the wrong college.
Right? That sounds fun.
But anyway, she's sad because everybody on campus knows they broke up, and everybody on campus thinks he dumped her because he's, like, you know, the golden boy. And she gets this call.
Yeah.
And he's like, who are you? In, like, a very sexy voice.
I'm sorry. Why are you, like, you don't get to ask me that. Who are you?
Right. And I don't really remember much about this except for they kind of clear it up that he thought she was a client and his personal assistant / roommate, which I don't know how that works out. That sounds like it would be terrible to have. Transcribed the number incorrectly, and so he actually missed the meeting with the big client that he was supposed to have.
Or maybe he never even set it up. I don't know.
Yeah. And then she was like, well, you know, I didn't actually miss lunch with my brother. They do a little bit of, like, snarky sort of flirting, and then they hang out.
Yeah, it's cute because she's, like, giving it back to him just as much as he's giving it to her. And at one point she's like, oh, his voice is sexy. And then he says something sarcastic, and she's like, never fucking mind. This guy's a douche. Like, I regret thinking he's sexy. But then he wins her over by the end of the conversation. And she's, like, smiling from ear to ear for the first time in a week since the breakup. Or maybe longer, because they had been on a downward spiral for a while. And then Caleb actually comes up to her because they have a class together next. And he's like, oh, so what's going on with you, Smiley? And she's like, nothing. Yeah, so it's cute. And then, like, the first, I don't know, 5 chapters at least is mostly just their actual text messages back and forth.
Text between her and this guy, whose name is Zach.
Yes.
And so he kind of so after their phone call, that could have kind of been the end of it. And then he starts up again by saying something about, like, he ordered a large pizza for himself and the delivery guy gave him, like, a shitty look. Like, yeah. So he kind of starts it back up again because he wants to keep texting her, and they start flirting back and forth on text.
And it's real cute.
So this thing
did you have some
fast,
favorites?
Guys.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. Okay, so for one thing, you know, he's like blaming her because of their... Oh, so he says, why is it I've spent the last 20 minutes trying to fall asleep and I can't because all I can think about is you? And she goes, are you trying to start a sexting convo? And he goes, what? No! Shit! That did come out creepy, huh? She goes, see? I told you you're a creeper. And then he blames her for the client meeting. And then she's like, no, it was your roommate's fault. Blame him. And he goes, I already did. I coerced him into buying me beer to go along with my leftover pizza. She goes, there's such a thing as leftover pizza? And he goes, are you trying to make me fall in love with you, Delia?
So he says one time, this is one of my favorites, he says, you want to know what's horrible? And she says, your face. Then he doesn't respond. And she's like, burn! And he still doesn't respond. And so she's like, do you need some aloe over there? And nothing from him. And then she's kind of like, oh, did that actually, like, piss him off, maybe? And so she's like, okay, are you mad? Zach, are you there? Are you okay?
Was that too far?
And then he comes back and he said, sorry, I had to call my friend and ask him to drive me to the hospital so I could get my wounds checked out.
So good.
So, yeah, this reads really fast because it's almost all text messages back and forth.
Yeah, and they bond over stupid shit like you do, like everyday stuff. At one point, she asked him to make the decision about what junk food she should get from the grocery store.
Right.
He asked about her hobbies, and she's like, well, I like knitting, and that's basically it. And so he's like, what? That's so lame. Like, are you an 80-year-old woman? She's like, hold, please. Give me 2 hours and I'll knit you something perfect.
Let's talk about this. Bing, boom, bong.
Oh,
we're
no.
in a segment. You didn't hear it coming because you were in the middle of a sentence.
This could go anywhere.
I don't know if this is a logistics or like a knitting with Erin. Okay, so she says she needs 2 hours, which I feel like I'm an average pace knitter.
Okay.
She makes him penis pot holders.
Yes.
Describe those in your mind's eye. What do those look like?
I think the shaft of the penis is where your 4 fingers go, and the balls are where your thumb goes. Okay. That's what I think. So you're grabbing it with the in-between part. That's my idea.
That's outstanding. I imagine just a regular square-shaped pot holder with like a penis print.
Drawn on it. Yeah.
Either way, you're not a knitter, right?
I'm a crocheter.
Okay.
So no.
Great. Outstanding. Okay. Because my first issue with this is this. Pot holders are not not knit. They're crocheted. I've never known anyone in the world to knit a pot holder. And she specifically talks about yarn, which is like not a good idea as far as picking up the pots. That's gonna melt because it's probably synthetic. I don't know. I guess she could knit a wool pot holder. I just don't understand it. It's a crocheted thing.
I think it might be more of a, what's it called? A novelty item than an actually useful item.
It gets used later in the book.
Oh, does it?
Yes.
I forgot about that. Huh.
All right.
I don't know how that happened.
Point number 2. This is a long segment.
Oh, Jesus.
Whether they are shaped like penises or they have an illustration on them in the form of different colors of yarn, I think that takes more than 2 hours to get together. Does she churn these out on the regular? Is this specifically a hobby of hers, penis pot holders?
Maybe. Because you've got to have, because first you got to find the pattern. If it's not something that you've got just like control saved in your brain,
there's no way she freehands a penis pot holder.
B, she needs like at least 2 different shades of yarn. You need a bit darker for the bell end, a bit lighter for the shaft.
Yeah.
I mean, is she going to get creative and do some darker, stuff on the testicles? I don't know. She might.
And I imagine if they're penis-shaped like you imagined in your mind's eye, it's going to be like knitting a sock. Stop doing that with your hand. Stop it.
I'm basically puppeting my hand at her.
Puppeting. Like she's got a penis pot holder on it. I just feel like it's like a sock and it's hard. It's going to be hard to like widen it for the balls. That's hard. That's difficult knitting, I think.
No, I know. Absolutely.
I don't know if it's different crocheting. I don't know how to crochet.
Yeah, I only crochet in straight lines, so I can make blankets and I can make scarves. That's all I can make.
I honestly thought what was going to come out of your mouth was, I've never crocheted, which would have been hilarious to me. Like, I consider myself a crocheter,
but I've never actually crocheted.
Done it? Oh, man.
I connect much more on like a kindred spirit level with crocheters.
Which is kind of like earlier today, one of the girls in the Heaving Bosoms geriatric friendship cult posted this video of this like incredibly sexy ballerino doing a pole dance. It was insane. And I honestly watched this thing thinking, I could do that if I tried and like trained at it and like ate better and like lifted weights and like devoted my whole life to ballet. That's not that impressive. That's how I felt you were about crochet. Like, oh, I could do that. Now you just go around saying I'm a crocheter.
No, honestly, that was one of the nicest things that anybody's ever done for me in my life, and that includes bailing me out of jail.
Wait, what was the nicest thing?
That was a good video.
That thing I have the nicer things. No, maybe not.
I said one of, bro. One of.
I didn't bail you out of jail. Okay.
No. So
penis,
a bunch of stuff happens.
Holders.
Basically, like, we should cover the important callbacks from the text messages because they're an excellent read. It's a snappy read. You should definitely just pick this book up.
There are a few like pop culture references that I did identify with. One was that one of them, I can't remember which, it was very scared by Dante's Peak.
Oh, yeah.
And I do have a friend out there that has a lasting phobia of stratovolcanoes due to Dante's Peak.
Specifically stratovolcanoes.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Hey, Cole. You'll listen to this in like 2 months. He's real behind. He actually read Mastered by Our Mates. Like a man that I'm friends with that has never read a romance novel before. Read Mastered by Our Mates. He found it incredibly disgusting. This cousin aspect. Anyway.
Okay, wait. So, well, we find this out because he has a fear of bunnies. Or like any rabbits, I guess. And she's like, no, I have regular fears. Like fears of volcanoes. Thank you, Dante's Peak. Okay, so some of the callbacks are the penis potholders. One of them is they joke about never having met or seen each other. And so he's like, hold on, I'm going to send you a picture of myself right now. And so she gets it and she's like, oh God, I don't want to open it. This could be a dick pic. This could be a something like,
who knows what he looks like? He could be.
Who knows what he looks like?
Because this is just a text out of nowhere. He could be 60. He could be lots of things.
Yeah. And actually, I don't know if this makes it more or less concerning. I guess like I was trying to figure out how it would feel in her shoes. Because the picture he sends her is of this super cute, smiling baby goat. And she's like, oh, baby goat, like, how did you know? Those are my favorite. And he's like, see, I told you I was cute. And at that point, I'm like, oh, God, what do you look like then?
Yeah, like all the catfish hairs on the back of my neck stood up. I don't know how much you watch Catfish, but I've seen every episode. I love Catfish.
Me too.
I knew you did.
Even though he's such a dick.
Oh, they're both dicks. I don't.
Oh man, they're
There's nothing
insufferable.
redeemable about the show.
No,
there's no one to root for. Nothing's good.
Nobody's clever.
No, nothing. There's nothing good about it. But that's why I like it. I want to see that turn. I want to know.
Bottom of the barrel. I love it. Yeah. Also, if you have any family members who have appeared on Catfish, I'm very sorry for our previous comments. Okay.
No, it's not. It's not the people. It's
I'm kidding.
There's just nothing to root for. Do you want them to be together? Do you want them to not be together? There's nothing. You don't want either.
Somebody's been lying the whole time.
Yeah.
Like for whatever reason.
I'm not saying that the people on Catfish are terrible, except for the two main guys. Yeah.
Terrible.
They're awful.
Terrible.
So if that's your brother, sorry. I don't know.
Although I do love all of the breastfeeding videos that Neve and his wife have come out with. But even then, it's like privileged white dude caring about something because it impacts him right now.
When he got accused of like sexually harassing one of the girls on the show too.
Yeah, also that's super gross.
You guys,
I just found that out.
This is not a podcast about this romance novel. We're just gonna do whatever today.
I'm really sorry.
It's late at night at Melody's house. I haven't talked to her in a couple of weeks.
Just send us a couple more 3-star reviews. Yeah, we get it.
We get it. We're sorry. Listen.
Okay, so that's another one. We don't lose sleep about those 3-star reviews. I know.
Some of us might, but that's fine because we're not going to change the podcast.
Here's the guy.
I've got a couple of callbacks that are new segment, Bing Boong Bong.
Yes.
Continuity errors with Erin.
Oh. Usually this is me. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks. So they actually go back and forth early in the text third of this book where she's texting him in class and he's like, aren't you supposed to be paying attention to your class right now? And she's like, oh, maybe. And then later in the book, he's like, you're in college? Like, he's like, why didn't you ever tell me you're in college?
Oh, I didn't notice that. How funny.
And she's like, you like me still, even though that you're older than me and blah, 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 and I'm in college. And I'm like, you guys talked about it in your text. Yeah.
Interesting.
And then sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
They talked about their favorite Ryan Reynolds movies, and it was right after they had talked about where they'd want to most live in the world, and she was like, easy, hands down, 100% Alaska. And then like, I don't know, 20 pages later, it's like, what's your favorite Ryan Reynolds movie? And she's like, easy, Waiting. What? Whatever. And then he's like, easy, The Proposal. And she's like,
which happens in Alaska.
LOL, the proposal. What a loser are you? And I'm like, why? You just said that you've always wanted to live in Alaska. Is that not your favorite Ryan Reynolds movie? I just feel like it's just, yeah. Okay.
Well, that was more that, like, he didn't choose one of his action movies. He chose a rom-com, which I don't know. I didn't find not endearing. I mean, I didn't find it endearing either, but you know what I mean.
Okay.
So,
all right. So the next thing that happens is,
and then another one of their callbacks is whether or not they're going to sext, and the answer is
no.
He's firmly hopeful, and she's firmly against it.
Yeah, he is in the sexting camp. She is in the no camp.
She's in the not ever.
So her and her roommate Zoe are gonna go out.
2 is about apparently.
Yeah, apparently are gonna go out on the town. Zoe is great.
Zoe is awesome.
Maybe she's Zoe. I'm not sure. Zoe. Zoe, I think. She's great. She wants to go out. She's like, you just got broken up with. That gives me an excuse to drink. Yeah. And Delia is kind of like, I don't really see this as a broken heart situation. I'm okay. Right. I don't need to go out. And Zoe's like, well, I want to do shots. And so they go out. And she's texting with him.
And they see Caleb there.
Yes.
And Caleb's like, oh, how's that? How's the boy you're seeing? And she's like, no, we're not saying we're texting.
No,
and like,
it's
texting, not a big deal.
That's it. We're not dating. We're just texting. So the night is winding to a close. Zoe's drunk off her ass. Delia's not drunk, but had too much to drive, probably. I don't know.
Well, they didn't bring a car, I don't think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right.
Because it's close to their house, but it's also late now.
Yeah. They live a few blocks away. Caleb is giving a ride home to some of his other friends. So he says to
I'll circle back for
Delia,
you.
I'll circle back for you. Which, I don't know what college they go to, but if you can't fit 20 people in the backseat of a car, you're not at a real fucking college.
You're not doing it right.
If I had $1 for every time I laid on the, back thing between the back window, and you know what I'm talking about? That little, shelf back there?
Yep.
Or, crawled straight up under a passenger seat.
Uh-huh.
I would have, probably $30.
I know. I know. You gotta just cram them in. That's how you go home.
You sit on the lap of the driver.
You're drunk anyway. Nobody cares.
It's fine.
You can fit at least 3 people in the front seat, and I'm talking
sit on the hood. Whatever.
Right. It's only a couple of blocks. Just get in there.
You're in college. You can't die. It's gonna be fine.
Exactly. No, they are way too civilized.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
I don't understand that. She won't wait 10 minutes for him to circle back. He's like, I'll circle back around. She's like, I want to leave now. I can't wait 10 minutes. And, I don't understand that either.
So he's like, well, promise me that you'll call a cab. And she's like, Scout's honor. Yes, of course I will. And then she realizes that her wallet has been stolen, which had cash in it.
Yeah.
Which womp womp.
Yeah.
But, so then she's like,
wonderful Zoe hands her $3.
Like, here, money.
She's like, I have it.
Money.
Here's the money. I gave it to you.
I so identified with this dynamic on both sides.
Me too.
So she's like, well, fuck stick. And Zach checks in and he's like, hey, how's it going? She's like, everything is shit. This sucks. I'm just going to walk home with my super drunk friend and try to keep her standing up. And he's like, no, you are not.
You will not.
He's like, tell me where you are right now. And
I'm on 50 Shades of Grey this shit. I'm landing my helicopter on the top of the bar. You will not drink, Anastasia. No, he does a much cuter thing.
No, he doesn't. He's so cute. He's like, all right, give me 5 minutes. And I'm thinking, I'm so excited because I'm on the edge of my seat here. I'm like, oh, it's the first meet cute. It's the first meet cute.
He's going to get there and walk into the bar. He didn't.
And
he's
then,
30
of course,
minutes away.
Teagan is just building my anticipation because we find out that he's about 30 minutes away. He doesn't want to make her wait that long with all of the drunk scoundrels that are probably about. I'm like, okay.
I know, right? If I had $1 for every time I was like, this is a bad neighborhood, but I'm drunk and I'm walking.
Yeah, but I don't have any other options.
Yeah, what am I going to do? I'm taking these heels off and I'm just walking. Anyway.
Oh, boy. It's a miracle we're still alive, honestly.
It's a miracle anyone's still alive.
I know.
After 20 through 25.
Yeah, I mean, especially since we grew up in the 80s and 90s.
Oh my God, remember Kenan and Kel? I'm sorry, I can't.
Stop it. No, so
he gets her the cab and he pays for it, and it's very sweet.
Yeah.
And
then the next thing that happens is they Netflix.
Maybe. But there's already this joke about sexting in the air, and they talked about the goat situation, that she loves goats. And at some point, and I don't know if it's before, it's somewhere in here, she says that if he buys her a baby goat, she will agree to meet him.
Yes.
And I think that's before the Netflix date, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think so too, yeah.
So that's in the air.
Yeah, so he's like, but it's also leading up to all of this. They're like, oh, if you, part of the baby goat thing was if you wanted a picture of me, like you could have just said something or whatever.
Right.
And one of the things they agree to is that they will send each other sort of photos, but they don't want to see the whole face because they want to keep that special for their first in-person meeting. Which, again, I could not tell if that was endearing or concerning.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, she's got a good vibe from him overall, but, just putting my in the moment cap on, I was like, I don't know how I would feel about that.
Yeah.
And to be fair, she doesn't either. She's like, I really like this dynamic.
Right.
I don't know what meeting in person will change,
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
So wait, can I read one of the sexting, my favorite sexting moment?
Sure.
Okay. She goes, I fell asleep thinking about you. And he responds, please tell me we're about to sext. And she goes, the moment I woke up, I ran my hand down my chest between my bountiful breasts. I dragged it across my flat stomach, goosebumps rising along my skin at the touch. It wasn't until I was right at the opening of my white cotton panties that I decided I wasn't going to touch myself because we are not sexting, you pervert. So they go back and forth and it's really, really cute. This is where he sends her the picture of the baby goat.
Yes.
They go back and forth about a bunch of different things. He sends her another photo because he bought a baby goat for himself. He didn't buy a baby goat for her. He bought it for himself. And they name it together. She decides it should be called Marshmallow. And then they can get graham cracker and milk chocolate later so that they can have a trio of s'mores.
And it upset me so much because she said, oh my gosh, it's the baby goat you got for me. And he's like, no, Goaty is mine. Goaty is the goat that I bought for me. Goaty is this goat. And I was upset because I really liked the name Goaty.
Goaty, I know.
And Marshmallow is not as cute as Goaty to me. But maybe it's because sometimes I call my dog Goaty.
You call Rooster Goaty? I get that.
No, I call Goat Goaty.
I was kidding.
Oh. I'm hungover from cake.
Oh boy.
Sometimes I make up songs about my dogs and I sing them to them. Mm-hmm. And I usually use, Goaty in the songs that I sing to Goat.
Can we do a bonus episode where you sing us some of your dog songs? I'll sing you some of my Ember songs.
We'll do it right now.
No, we don't have time. Okay. So they're going back and forth about goats, about everything. They send each other pictures of like a quarter of their face. He's like, hey, I'd still like to meet you, by the way, like just FYI. I don't know. They're generally sarcastic back and forth. You should really just read the book.
Also, when he sends her the picture of him and the goat, all she can see is an eyebrow, and it's a good, big old, bushy, sexy eyebrow. And she's I like that eyebrow. And just so you know, in my mind's eye, from here on out, he's Max Minghella from The Handmaid's Tale. Because that's an eyebrow. I was like, oh, okay, I know that eyebrow.
Yeah.
So that's what I had from here on
Max
out.
Max Gillicuddy.
Yeah, what is his last name? It's so hard.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
It's a mystery.
Yeah, so then they Netflix at some point.
Mm-hmm. They both say that they're staying in that night and they're watching Netflix. So they decide to watch the same thing together and text.
Can I just say that I was really upset that it was a show I've never had any interest in.
Yeah, well, it's a werewolf show, right?
No.
I thought it was about werewolves.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's Hemlock Grove, y'all. I don't know it. They watch the show. They're texting live. Oh, they also both get hot wings. This is important.
Wait. Yeah.
They decide they have to eat the same thing while watching the same show.
Uh-huh.
And so he gets his hot wings. He opens them up and he's like, fuck, they forgot the fucking ranch. This is bullshit. which she thinks is kind of funny. They're on the phone.
Yeah, they talk on the phone the whole time. And this is like sort of a big thing because they've only texted up until this point.
It starts texting, but for some reason they call each other for some, I don't remember.
Yeah.
And then her hot wings arrive and she gets to the door.
And he has paid for them.
And she, rightfully so, freaks the fuck out because she's like, how do you know where I live? How did you know where I ordered the hot wings from?
Right.
Where are you? Are you inside the house? Like, this is, we're shutting this down right now. This is over. And he's like, no, I know kind of where you live because you're in the vicinity of that bar because you said it was in walking distance. Yep. So I just called around to the couple of hot wings places there and I asked if somebody with your name had ordered the hot wings and then I paid for them. And she's like, oh, that's actually kind of sweet. Okay.
And I was like, a likely story. He's in the house.
Yeah, me too.
No, it wasn't. It was very cute. If this had been
me, I would have missed out on true love because the moment he texted me after the phone call where he was like, the very first phone call where he was like, la la la, pizzas or whatever, I would have been like, who are you? What do you want? Why did you set this thing up to make it look like an accident? Who sent you? Like, that would have immediately been my thing, and I would have shut it down. I would have tossed my phone in a fucking river. I would have gotten a new phone.
Yeah, you would have thought he was an ISIS.
I would have taken the battery out. I would have thrown the battery and thrown the phone the other direction. That's what I would have done.
Okay, one important plot point that we forgot is that her roommate Zoe, who is a bit of a player, which I love, is going out on a date with a kid from the baseball team. His name is Shep. Everybody calls him Shep, and he is also a super player. And
I thought he was like an agent. No, he's a player?
No, he's a player. He's on the team. He's in college as well.
Oh,
so the night that they Netflix is the night that Zoe is out on this date, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that is important because Zoe is a little bit... She's like actually smitten when normally she's like, I just want to bang it out and then bounce, which also girl after my own heart.
My heart hurt a little bit because remember when we did the segment Melody Plays Erin for a second during a few episodes ago? I really thought you were about to slut shame this girl when you were like, she's a little bit. And I was like, what is happening to Melody? Who are you?
No. Oh, also, at some point, I'm looking at a text right now. I randomly turned to it where she correctly pronounces Smokey Bear.
What are you
which
talking
is really
about?
exciting. So my stepdad works for the Forest Service, and everybody thinks that the mascot for the Forest Service, like protect yourself from forest fires, is Smokey the Bear. It's not, guys. Public service announcement. It is.
Oh my God.
His
Bing,
name
boom,
is
bong.
Smokey Bear.
Bing boom bong.
Yeah. Bing,
is
boom,
anyone
bong.
listening to this? You think we can just go off the rails entirely?
I think probably.
It's just us and like the 3 super fans right now.
I know. Hi, Jacqueline.
No one we know is still listening, for
Hi,
sure.
Kat.
None of our friends are still around, yeah.
No.
Hey, Jacqueline. Hey, Jen. Hey, Kat.
Okay. Yeah,
okay.
Hello, Elizabeth.
Okay. Back on track. We're here. We got this.
We do.
Should we just keep naming superfans? Anne?
No.
Okay.
No, we can't. Okay, it's just this Netflix thing is really long.
Yeah,
and so I keep trying to page
in this
past
book.
it.
It's just a lot of dialogue for a long time.
She falls asleep while...
Oh, yeah. She falls asleep at the end of the Netflix.
It's cute. In chapter 8, it starts with, it's official. I, Delia Devlin, have a crush on Marshmallow. Ugh, fine. It's on Zach. So cute. Yeah, so then I think that they finally agree to meet up, right? Like after this Netflix thing.
Yeah, they're going to go on a date.
So they're going to go on a DATE, everybody. Get your date pants on.
He asks her a series of questions about like where she wants to go on this date. And I would have, if I were him, I would have backed out during this discussion. Because he's like, how about sushi? And she's like, I feel it slide down my throat quickly and come back up. Does that count? And he's like, okay, sushi is a no. Noted. Okay, what about Mexican? And she's like, I guess, can I just eat the chips and salsa? And he's like, okay, no. What about Italian? And she's like, oh my God, can you be any more cliche? And I'm like, how about you be a little less the worst? How about that? Like, God, eat a food. Like... How about you tell me the foods that you like?
Should it be burgers? Like, what do I do with you?
Yeah. Is it
do you
just
only
wings?
eat chicken nuggets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She loves chicken nuggets. We found that out too. Yeah. Date 2. But we're at date 1.
That's
So
true.
he picks her up. He says to her that on the first date, he will let her touch his butt.
Yeah, actually, I'm reading it right now. He's like trying to cajole her into saying yes to the date. And she goes, I want one reason why I should say yes.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, because I'll let you touch my butt. Like, it's really cute. Yeah, sorry, that was right before all of the blah, blah, blah. Can I read you a romantic section?
Sure.
Okay. So she's comparing in her brain Caleb and Zach. And she goes, but Zach, he understands me on a level I wasn't expecting. Understands my sarcasm, but doesn't get annoyed when that's the mode I'm in. He appreciates the darkness behind it. And even better, he fires back with his own. I see what you mean now.
Mm-hmm.
Our conversations are seamless, flirty, and I like it way more than I should. Not to mention my body tingles with anticipation every time he sends a text because I know it'll spark an endless string of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually is really sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, for the first date, what do they do?
He shows up, but first, he shows up at her house. She's so nervous she can't answer the door, so she has Zoe answer the door. He's got to know. So she sent him pictures of like her feet, her arm, whatever.
Right.
Zoe is black and Delia is white. So he has to know when Zoe answers the door that it's not Delia, and yet there's still some confusion there.
I totally missed that.
Yes. Wait.
Huh.
Do you miss the races or you missed the confusion?
I missed the races.
Maybe I got confused. Maybe I read something wrong. It happens a lot, but I was pretty sure Zoe was black in this book. Maybe I just pictured her that way because I was like, "What? Why is this confusing to you?" Anyway,
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
I hope I'm right about that. Anyway, so he opens the door. He's like, "Are you Delia? No, you're not." And then Zoe still touches his butt. I just love it.
So I do
She's
too.
like, I want the butt touch.
Yeah, give it to me. Give it to me.
I love her.
Me too.
But then, so he takes her out to a park where there is going to be a movie in the park. He's very cute.
Oh, yeah, that is
very
their first date.
nerdy. It's going to be Transformers, but then it turns out that it's the Lego movie instead.
Everybody's still happy. I would be
still
happier,
okay with it. Yeah.
frankly.
He makes her peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with Doritos, which is, she's definitely going to like that, because that's probably the only food she eats. Shows her how to eat the peanut butter and jelly with the Doritos on it. She's surprisingly okay with that. He brings orange soda. They have a Kenan and
really
Kel
cute
bonding
conversation.
moment. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. I didn't understand the Kenan and Kel references because apparently I was too country to be a 90s kid, even though I am a 90s kid.
Maybe it's more unique than I thought. Every time they bonded over a reference, I'm like, that's everybody. Everyone does that or knows that. I don't know.
Well, no, we had 3 channels, only 3 channels, until I was 14. So, I don't know. If it wasn't on, like, Saturday morning cartoons, then it was lost on me.
Mm-hmm.
So, then he takes her to a coffee shop, right?
Yeah, but it's a special coffee shop.
Yeah.
Where it's in like a
arcade.
neighborhood. Yeah, and it's an arcade inside, and it's not even marked with like a sign or anything. And
yeah, it's
inside,
a speakeasy coffee shop arcade.
Coffee shop arcade just for nerds.
Nerds.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
And then they go in and they have coffees at night, which I was like, what? And then I had to remind myself that they're like in college.
I'm glad we had that moment too, because I was just like
cake. I'm so fucking old. Also, while they were out, he tells her about his job. He's an app designer person.
Yeah.
And he, when he was in college, designed an app that made a ton of money, but he sold it.
Yeah, he had a whole company.
Yeah,
and then
he had a
sold
whole
the
thing.
company. And I think he actually works for his company now. Like, he sold it, and then he just wanted to be a programmer.
Right.
So he got a job with them. That was part of the package.
Right. Because he was overworked and stuff. And she asked him about the first app that he made. And the first app he made was basically Hot or Not.
Yeah, except for in
like
his high school.
And
so mean.
He saw a lot of fallout from that and really deeply regretted it, and then started a thing that was called Embody Positivity, which sounds kind of lame to me, but whatever. Sorry.
So he started this club.
It was a club for kids to meet each other and be
feel
positive
safe.
and no bad things were allowed in it, which is a cool thing. I think it's that I don't like the name. I don't like the name.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Enough.
I like the thing. Anyway, so now he's developed an app of it.
Yes. So that kids anywhere can connect virtually.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly to our geriatric friendship call.
Now that's
think?
a cool name. That's a name
I
can
cool
get
name.
Okay, so she's like, and she finds out that his ex left him when he sold his company because she was very into the whole
money and prestige.
Thing. Yeah,
and that's a really cute first date.
They do a smooch.
He kisses her.
Oh yeah, they do a good smooch.
Yeah, right outside her door, and then they fall in because Zoe, who I think is white, opens the door.
Snug that is. There's no way to know at this point. I don't know. I think maybe I just imagined her to be a black woman. I have no idea.
I'm gonna make a poll in our Twitter and our cults to see.
It's not hard to find out. Okay, you talk about what happens next. I'm going to try to figure out.
Okay, so they get to her door. He pushes her up against the door and it's really cute and they're kissing and it's a good kiss. And then Zoe opens the door and they literally fall backwards. Well, she falls backwards. He falls forwards into the house and he lands on her and it's really, really cute. And then he goes home. And then I don't think that they see each other for another week, right?
They keep trying to meet up, but it keeps kind of not working. Because of schedules and stuff. So,
which I'm he works from home and she's a college student. Meet for brunch on a Tuesday? I don't understand.
One of the things that he's I forget what she has in her schedule. But then she's like, how about Sunday? And he's like, that's a football day. I can't go on a date with you on a Sunday. And again, I would have been like, I'm
Bye.
out. You can't. You're not excited enough about this relationship. You can't go out with me on a football day. And
Bye.
If he was a football person, sorry, when people are very into sports, I just call them by the sport. If he's a football, so if he was a football, I would understand it. But he's not. He's a nerd. So there's no other mentions of him being a football. So
yeah, so we were having a conversation about how our significant others are both prone to boycotting things when they feel really strongly about it.
Yes.
And can I tell you the sexiest thing that Michael has boycotted in recent memory?
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
What?
When he was like, I no longer watch the NFL because of their treatment of players and their response to domestic abuse within the league. I had a reaction that was positive and personal.
He's a football. Michael's a football for sure.
Yeah. And
Michael's also a basketball.
Yes,
and a baseball.
Michael is and a baseball. Yeah. But now it's only college football that he will entertain because #fire Goodell, and he's a man of many morals.
Right. Bing, boom,
also,
bong.
now I don't have to deal with football.
Yeah.
Get it?
Bing, boom, bong.
Bing, bong.
This is a new segment called...
Is it new? Is it?
Called Basic Character Descriptions with Erin. And Zoe's white. She's got hazel eyes and brown hair, y'all. She's a white girl.
She's a white girl.
So, I guess there's no amount of friendship or money that could get you to cut all that, right? No.
Not a single amount of friendship or money.
Okay, cool, guys. All right. So he comes over to her house one night with chicken nuggets. That's date 2, right?
Oh, man. I'm sorry. I have to go back to when they're having coffee real quick.
Okay.
Because they have this whole conversation about kissing each other, and it is hot. It is objectively hot.
All right, let's hear about it.
She goes, I could kiss you right now.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I say the words and I mean them. Sure, I've thought about it, but I don't think I realized how badly I wanted it to happen until right now. That's so.
Aww.
He doesn't miss a beat, because I wouldn't object to it. His hand snakes out, brushing back the locks of hair that have fallen over my eye, lingering on my cheek for the briefest of moments. This is the most forward thing I've ever said, but I would kiss you so hard if you would let me.
Mm-hmm.
And then a while later, she's sort of battling herself in her brain. And a while later she goes, "We're in public," I managed to scratch out. "We are. I don't think this is a good place for that." "No? No." "And why is that, Delia?" "Because I'm certain that once I start kissing you, I won't be able to stop."
Magical. Wow.
Okay, sorry. So date 2.
Like next week, she's studying for her econ test or whatever, and she's too busy to go out with him, and she hasn't eaten all day, and she's having a bad night. And then there's a knock on the door, and who is it? But Zach with some chicken nuggets
and his goat.
Oh yeah, and the goat. Yeah,
Marshmallow, he brings
the goat.
Marshmallow.
She answers the door and just immediately grabs the bag out of his hand and just goes back to the couch and just starts eating it without
snarfing it,
saying hello.
No peck on the cheek. No welcome.
I'm a bad host. And she's like, "But I'm a surprise host and you surprised me, so whatever."
I actually really like that.
Yeah, it was great. She meets Marshmallow. They hang out on the couch. Marshmallow eats a couch cushion.
Yeah. And then he helps her study for his econ test.
Yeah. And
he's
really going to
cute.
stay the night on the couch. And then they say goodnight, and it's very awkward. And she's like, "Salutations and goodbye." Like, it's a very weird. Yeah.
Yep.
And she's like on her way back to her bedroom, and he just spins her around and like just starts snarfing her right there.
And then he's like, "Invite me into your room, Delia." And she's like, "Please," like a vampire.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Please come into my
Yes.
room immediately."
I wonder if he is a vampire.
That's
what I would think. Somebody invite me in. That's a very vampire thing to do.
It is.
So she does a little striptease for him.
Yeah, it's really funny. She like faces her dresser and takes off her clothes and down to her undies or whatever and her bare back. And he's just like, "I kind of can't handle my life right now."
Yeah.
That was super hot. And then they just like snuggle and kiss and go to sleep.
Yeah, they decide they're not going to have sex,
which I'm fine with. So it's really cute.
Mm-hmm. One thing that happens while they're there that night is he has Slytherin boxers. Just putting a note on that one. And she says that she only allows Hufflepuffs in her bed, and then she does drag him into her bed so that she can smooch him. And then he's like, "I can't believe you let this Slytherin into your chamber of secrets." That's a pretty good joke.
It is a really good one. Yeah, that's a hot scene, though. I've got a lot highlighted.
Yeah, me too. We find out that Zoe slept with Marshmallow the goat.
Yes.
Because she didn't have anybody to snuggle with. Zoe is just a prize.
But can I just say that goats are not snuggly. Goats are mostly angles and hard hooves.
I don't really understand the baby goat.
Goats are
in this story. It doesn't make sense to me. I feel like that goat would have ate her bed if it ate the couch cushion.
I've had bottle baby goats in my room before, and I've never actually encountered a goat that ate furniture. So I don't know where this stereotype comes from, but that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've had a couple of different bottle babies that lived in the house with us for a while, and it's never happened. But that's fine. I'm just saying the goats are not comfortable bed companions. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Also, while they're sleeping together, they decide that they're gonna have sex on the third date. And he's like, "But is this then the second date?" And she's like, "I don't know.
We'll have to see how I feel.
Yeah, we'll see how that next date goes, and then we'll decide whether it's the third one or not." So, they have some texting after that, and he just casually drops that he has a brother that's a big baseball player. And I was like...
Which I was immediately like, is it Caleb?
Yeah, I thought so too. But I was like, they would have the same last name. She dated him for 6 months. Like, there's no way it can be Caleb. If it turns out to be, it's going to really bother me.
No, they have separate last names because of their family story.
But I didn't know
find
that.
out later.
Yeah, but I was just like, oh, man, if this turns out to be what it is...
No, he mentions that they're stepbrothers.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Maybe the second time he mentions it, he says they're stepbrothers.
There would be signifiers that she would know that...
Well, and since she spent so much time with baseball players, why wouldn't she be like,
"Oh, who is
which one?"
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Anyway, so they kind of mentioned that, and then they set up date number 3.
Which I completely and utterly cannot get behind. I can't do it. I can't. I tried and I can't. So here's what happened, guys. So remember during the Netflix and chill sesh where he was like, those motherfuckers forgot my ranch. Turns out Zach is really, really obsessed with ranch dressing.
So obsessed that he has searched the world, apparently, for a restaurant that specializes in ranch dressing and was so happy to find out there was one in his town? Question
one
mark?
just popped up in his backyard, as he said.
No.
Fine. No, I will give it that.
You will give it that? That's a lot.
Fine. You know what? I'm just allowing it because that's not my problem.
Okay.
My problem is you need to ask a person if they are pro-ranch before you take them to a place that not only has 30 different flavors of ranches, but also slathers everything in ranch.
Because
I would not be able to eat.
Ranch.
I hate ranch
you
dressing.
You hate ranch too?
I hate it.
See, this is something that people could actually bond over. I feel like that's pretty rare.
That's true.
Hating ranch.
We are
Most
white girls
like
who hate ranch.
A Midwestern one.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
You're so right.
I very much prefer blue cheese. I would put blue cheese on almost anything.
Sure.
I love blue cheese. But when I
used to put blue cheese crumbles on almost anything.
When I love blue cheese, I spell it BLEU.
EU.
Unlike Delia here, who spells it just blue.
BLUE.
So I don't know what kind of cheese she's eating, but hopefully it's not moldy.
Yeah, I can't get behind a ranch restaurant.
They
but
also
I guess
sit outside in November, which he doesn't consult her on.
Yeah, where
they go to the
are
hostess stand. The hostess said, I think at some point they said something
like
about
Georgia?
New York. No, but also, I don't even know the race of the characters, so let's just see here. New York. I thought they drove up to upstate
Chicago
New York
area.
for his.
They drive. Doesn't
no
matter.
results for New York in this book. All right, cool.
All right,
cool.
Good call.
I don't know
think
where
it's
they're
just like an amorphous state.
Sure. But they sit outside in November, and he doesn't even be like, is that cool?
Interesting.
He specifically requests they sit outside, and he's not like, hey, Delia, do you mind if we sit outside?
No. He does say that there's warming lamps.
That's true.
Or whatever.
I don't know about you, but a warming lamp does not cut it for me for a dining outside experience.
I'm a cold person.
Me too.
So, yeah.
Okay. So they eat they just drink ranch out of pint glasses and mason jars at this place.
Oh, get it.
And then they decide we feel sexy.
Yeah, after eating just vats of ranch dressing, they're like, you know what we should do? Rub our stomachs together.
She talks about what she wants to eat, and he's like, oh, you need to get the French fries and then sample all the ranches. And she's like, okay, and then I'm going to get a hamburger, and then I'm going to get mozzarella sticks, and then we're going to get fried green beans. And I'm like, bitch, this is supposed to be your inaugural sex night. You need to calm it down.
How are you going to be awake for the sex?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they're just like riding on the caffeine that is first love. I don't know.
So they drive back to his place, and she hops him in the car real hot. He gets her back to his house. They have sex. It's good.
It's good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I liked her sex scene. Later that night, she kind of roams around his house, finds his office.
Finds his basement office.
He goes down there and goes down on her down there.
Yeah.
That was, I think, even better than the sex scene. It was very good.
I thought so, too. Yeah.
And then he invites her to go to Thanksgiving with his fam.
Yeah, he does. Get it.
Uh-huh.
And for some reason, her family hates her, so she says yes.
Yeah. No, her family's all doing other stuff, I guess, for Thanksgiving. So they go to not upstate New York, as I thought.
Yeah. They drive about 2 hours in some direction
to go
out to the country.
So maybe I just assumed it was New York.
Maybe it's upstate Oklahoma. Who knows? It could be.
Nope. The results were negative for the word upstate. I'm just going to stop Googling. So they go to his parents' house for Thanksgiving. The morning of the Thanksgiving trip, she sexts with him and sends him a sexy
naughty picture
photo of herself for the first time.
And yeah, we forgot to tell them about her tattoo. She has this tattoo of a quote or something that curves the underside of her breast on her ribs. So I guess that's visible in the photo, and it's like a sexy little sex that he's been asking for a long time. And her face is not in it.
When they were doing it. I'm not about it, but whatever. So
did he?
Yeah, he licked it right after she explained that it was because she wants to love everything and that's why she got this tattoo. Or she wants to do everything 100%. He was like, and she goes, I could see that he liked my explanation of that tattoo because his eyes smoldered sexily. And then he just like sticks out his tongue and does a lap on it. And I was like, ugh, I don't know about that.
So they go up to his casa and meet the parents. She packs a bunch of snacks because she gets hangry, much like myself.
So his mom died. His parents met in grief counseling.
Yes.
Should we talk about it?
So his mom died and his brother's dad died. They met in grief counseling. And then he followed her out to he said something insensitive.
Oh, no. You're not going to gloss over this. Here is what happened.
Please tell me everything.
His father gets up and says, hi, I'm here because I haven't been showering and I smell like ass and my kids hate me now because I'm not being a good dad and my wife is dead and so am I. And so I need to talk to you guys.
Yeah, that's my favorite line. My wife died and I am also,
Cutting.
My wife is dead and so am I.
Horrible. This woman gets up next and says, my name is Rose. And this insensitive asshole from the audience yells, there was room on that door at a grief counseling meeting where her husband died, much like in the movie Titanic. Jack died because she didn't have room on the door. And then this guy's yelling, there was room on that door because her name is Rose?
And his name is Jack.
Yeah, but, like, is she supposed to even remember that from the last guy who stood up in grief counseling meeting?
Totally.
Oh, my God. And so she, of course, starts sobbing, runs out, and he follows her, and then they fall in love. But I was just like, what an asshole.
What a meet cute, am I right? Yeah, Story for the ages.
We don't want to read that book. I don't.
So then she meets the brother. He comes in and she doesn't meet him at first because he's like unpacking his stuff. And then he borrows Zach's phone because his phone died on the way and he needed to look something up or do something. Doesn't matter. So he's like, oh yeah, they're all sitting out in the veranda together. And he's like, oh yeah, my brother will be here in just a minute. And all of a sudden in walks Shep, the guy who we find out in this moment went on enough dates with Zoe, who is white, to convince her to sleep with him. And then refused.
It doesn't matter. It's not like it matters. Except for that plot point that I thought was wrong because it did matter.
I just love the sheepish grin that gets onto your face every time you realize. Okay. So he went out with her enough times and like wined her and dined her and really laid it on thick until he fucked her and then just ghosted. Didn't answer her phone calls anymore.
Told her that he didn't want some clingy girlfriend when she wanted to go out with him again. She was smitten.
What a dick. She was smitten for the first time in forever.
So at Thanksgiving dinner, Delia makes kind of a little comment of like, oh yeah, I know who you are. I used to date Caleb. He's on the baseball team with you. And my best friend and roommate is Zoe. You know Zoe. And he's like, oh, I don't know anyone named Zoe. It just must be one of my fans who I don't know.
God, he's such a fuckboy.
And she's like, nah, I think you know her. Like, sort of thing. So that happens.
Doesn't out him to his family. Just sort of skirts around the subject.
Right. So then she gets a call from Caleb in the night. They have a great weekend at the parents' house or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
She gets a middle of the night phone call from Caleb.
Well, she gets a couple of phone calls from Zoe and doesn't answer them.
Right.
And then she gets a middle of the night phone call from Caleb.
And she's like, okay, I guess I got to pick this up. And Caleb's like, have you talked to Zoe? Do you know what's going on? And she's like, no. And he's like, there's this picture of your boobs going all around campus right now. Who did you text a picture of your boobs to? And she's like, the guy that's sleeping right next to me. And he's like, okay, well, that guy texted it all out. And he sends her the screenshot. And the screenshot in the caption, it's like from Z. Like,
and it says like, check this out
for Zach because
from Z to someone else.
Yeah. So she's like, oh my God, this did not seem like the kind of guy that would text a picture of my boobs out to everybody. But like, what do? That was the only person that I texted him to. So she gets out of this weekend by being like, "Hi, Zach, I need to go home immediately because I just got my period.
I'm bleeding everywhere
and it's
out
a
of my
very heavy
vagina."
flow.
And it is just a goddamn massacre down there. So we gotta go.
He's like, "Sure, we can go home right now." And so they pack
goes
up,
in
they
and
go
buys
home.
her tampons on the way. Like he goes into the store to get her tampons, and it's all really sweet. He's like trying to ask her what's wrong. She's just like, "I just cramps, headache, bleh, I feel gross." Okay.
She pretends to sleep on the way home. He knows that she's not really asleep because she snores like an engine revving all night long.
She goes,
yeah.
Shoo! Yeah. That's what she's doing in the car.
Yeah. And he can tell. Yeah. So,
me. Yeah, she decides to snore like a dwarf.
There's something wrong. I know there's something wrong. And please tell me if I've done something wrong. I really want to know. And so finally she just like loses her shit and puts the picture in front of him and is like, "This is what you did wrong, jerk. This is what the fuck
is wrong."
And he's like, "Wow, you don't know me at all." And he's kind of upset, and then they part ways, and it's very sad.
Yeah, and then she's really confused because she's like, "Hold on, I'm the injured party here.
Why are you mad at me?"
Yeah. And then I'm like, because Zoe, Delia, he obviously didn't do it. Like, that's why. So she's really confused. Caleb's like, "I got to get to the bottom of this. Like, I want to know how the fuck this happened." And then Caleb, Delia, and Zoe are all talking together. And I think Caleb is like, honestly, this doesn't sound like something that this guy would do. This sounds like something Shep would do.
Right.
So I'm going to figure that nonsense out.
Yeah.
And I
he's
will
like,
circle
"Was there
back.
ever a time where he had his phone? Was there ever a time?" And she's like, "Yeah, but he had it, or would he have any reason to be out to get you?" And she's like,
he was like, he's
I
really
did say
vindictive.
something about Zoe, but like, he had his phone before that I said something about Zoe, so why would he didn't have access to it after. And so they go on a sleuthing mission. She gets a knock on her door. It's Caleb. Caleb's got Shep, like, basically by the ear, and is like...
And Shep's got a black eye.
Yeah, you're gonna fucking tell her what happened. So Shep tells her that when he borrowed Zach's phone at Thanksgiving, he went through his pics, saw the naked boobies, and was like...
And just forwarded it to himself.
I would like to see those later. And then deleted that message because he didn't want Zach to find out that he was looking at his girlfriend's boobs. And then after dinner, when he was mad, created this message to make it just so shitty. I honestly had trouble suspending disbelief for this one because I was just like,
I did not.
It's a level of so shitty. But to his brother?
Nope. I did not have a problem.
Oh,
did not have a problem.
Ooh.
This guy is just top-notch douche, but they absolutely exist in this world.
It's so bad.
Well, here's what I don't understand. Because we find out, I think the timeline that I understand is that Caleb gives Shep the black eye because he is like, "You're going to tell her, like, kapow, you don't want another knuckle sandwich, you go tell her what happened."
Yeah.
But then, later on, when, spoiler alert, they inevitably get back together, she's like, "So what happened?" He tells her that part of the fallout is that his parents couldn't get him off of Shep. So I'm wondering if he didn't just turn right back around, realizing that the only person who would have, because he knows he didn't do it, realizing that the only person who would have had access and would have had access to the college network.
No, he said that Caleb told him.
Yeah, but then has Shep been staying at the parents' house the whole time?
Maybe.
Because he says that the dad had to wrestle him off of Shep. But that doesn't make sense because Caleb is down at the university with him.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know.
So I really think that he just already knew, turned right back around, beat the shit out of Caleb, told his parents, and then that's what I meant. Beat the shit out of Shep, told his parents, and then later on Caleb like confirmed everything. I don't know. That's what didn't track as far as continuity was concerned for me in this book, but either way, it doesn't really matter. So then she's like, oh no, of course he was mad because I doubted his character from the beginning and like I didn't give him the benefit of the doubt and I would be mad too. But then she doesnuld like, I think, does she text him being like,
I'm sorry.
Hey, I know, it wasn't you.
Yeah. And he's like, she's like, I wish I would have been more, I wish I would have known you, but like, gave you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I wish you would have too. And it's kind of a little sad, but
it is sad, but she also doesn't like call him.
Yeah. He also says, hey, Delia, also go to bed. It's after midnight. And that kind of gave her a little glimmer of hope of like, oh, he's, kind of joking around a little bit with me and stuff.
Yeah. So then Operation Get Zach Back happens.
It's very failure to launch.
Yeah. She goes from like having a glimmer of hope to the only option is to steal his baby goat.
Yeah. Which I think she would have done either way, whether they're broken up forever or this is a way to get him back. She needs that baby goat. It was a gift.
She needs it.
Yeah. So she steals that baby goat. Not a lot to say about that. Steals it, sneaks into his house.
Yeah, she enlists her roommate's help and his roommate's help. I think because they're going to be the protagonists of book 2.
Yeah, because they kind of run into each other and she's like, damn, he's hot, sort of thing.
Damn.
Because Delia accidentally sneaks into the roommate's room instead of the goat room. But anyway, so because she leaves.
The goat has its own room.
Sure.
Which I cannot wrap my brain
He's
around.
Got that startup
Goats
money.
have a very particular smell.
He's got that.
No, I'm sorry.
Money.
No.
Goats are not pets.
Need a shed.
It's not a pet. Anyway, so.
No, yeah.
She leaves a ransom note. Then she gets a pizza delivered to her that says "Game On" in pepperoni, Princess Diaries style.
And then she knows what that means. Yeah. I had no idea what that meant.
She goes to the arcade.
He's there. Oh, while they're broken up, she had gone to the arcade to like hopefully see him and got a free coffee out of the deal.
This thing was born out of text. Just text him. Like, you don't have to go to the arcade to kind of like hopefully see him. Anyway, I get it. They're dumb and young, and they're
it's adorable.
They don't want to confront.
So they go to the arcade,
so
and he's there.
He's just been there since he sent her the pizza. Days and days.
It's true.
Long nights waiting.
He lives there now.
They play the games at the arcade for their love, and then they love each other. I don't know what else to say.
They're together forever. Like, that's it.
That's it.
The epilogue, I don't know if it's the epilogue or the first chapter of the next book, so maybe I shouldn't talk about it.
There's an epilogue and
they're
going to
move in together. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's super cute.
Yeah.
And I really liked this book. It was snappy. Mm-hmm. It was quick. It was really fun.
It is.
And most of it made sense.
A lot of texting and a lot of really newish pop culture references. So if that's not something that you're into, like, it's a lot of pretty new stuff. So this is like a 2016-17 book at least, I think. I don't know why I'm...
Oh, wait. I have to have a Bing Boong Bong Gold Star Parenting with Melody. It's a new segment.
Ooh.
Everybody get ready. Because the response to the Shep bullshit is absolutely perfect. Uh-huh. The parents did not wait for the university to get involved. They were just like, I don't care what your future prospects are. You lose baseball for the rest of the season. You are like, you need to, they actually give him real life consequences for this revenge porn ridiculousness that he
it's a crime
came
in
up
some
with.
States.
It's absolutely a fucking crime.
In some states.
It should be. I know. It should be a crime everywhere, though. It's definitely like a moral crime anyway. And it would be a crime if she was like, I don't know, 1 year younger. I forget how old she is, but oh no, she's a senior, like 20, so 3 years younger. Anyway, Gold Star Parenting, they're just like, this will not stand. You're going to learn how to be a person. No more baseball for the rest of the season. Maybe even not next year unless you get your shit together. And like, there's a bunch of other stuff that they demand he do. And that's how you respond to that kind of display of toxic masculinity. Everybody? Yeah.
All right. Is that it?
I'm into it.
Are we good?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bing, boom, bong. Segment over.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is if you're, I know that some of our listeners on the Heaving Bosom Geriatric Friendship Cult kind of got into this one early and started a few discussions on it. And it seemed like the older listeners were not as into this. Like, if you're not from this generation, you might not be into it. So
yeah, that makes sense.
That's all.
All right, so Erin, do you has a self-love recommendation?
I'll think of one if you go first.
Okay, because I am raring to
All
go,
right.
guys. If you need something in your life that is just candy, like it's bad for you, okay, this is bad for you, but sometimes your brain and your soul need candy. I want you to get on Hulu's and watch a little show called Love Island, because it is this treasure that the Brits have come up with. If you can possibly wrap your brain around it, it is an amalgamation of Bachelor in Paradise, plus Big Brother, plus Survivor, plus a bunch of stuff all together. And plus, all of this is done with a veritable buffet of UK accents. Like, it's incredible. Basically, the premise is 5 girls show up at a villa in Spain, which, like, Brits abroad is already. I mean, these are like 20 to 30-year-old partiers from the UK, and they're sent to a villa in Spain. 5 girls show up, 5 boys show up, and they have to couple up, and then they have to recouple up, and they're finding love, and they're earning the loyalty of the British public, because it's 6 or 7 weeks of filming, and I think it's on for at least like 3 or 4 nights a week.
What?
We're talking like 50 episode seasons in some cases.
Wow.
And the public votes throughout all of this, and then they also have like fun challenges where like there was one at one point where it was like spill the tea or whatever, and it was all the shit that the Islanders had said about each other, and they had to like guess who said it about them and then like throw drinks in their face.
Wow.
Like, it gets crazy. It is so delicious. It's my favorite thing that's happened to me in a really long time. And I found it because I was hankering for some Bachelor in Paradise. And then I found this thing that's like 75 times better than Bachelor in Paradise.
Oh, yeah.
It's incredible. And some of them are really smart and some of them are so impressively stupid, but it's still all done in some version of a UK accent. I cannot recommend it highly enough if you like trashy, amazing reality television shows. It's a gift to the world.
Thank you. And I do.
You are welcome.
I don't know if I can even like come back with something after that. I don't feel like it can. I don't have anything.
I mean,
I don't have a lady love this week. I'm sorry, guys. If you have, here's my lady
There's
love.
4 seasons of this thing.
If you go to the emergency room because of an
boy.
eyeball pain, excruciating, such that you can't do your job or live your life, and they look at your eyeball just with their eyeballs, and they say, we think this is a staph infection in your tear duct.
Oh my God.
And then, well, I had this procedure where I had like some needles put into my tear duct. So I guess, it's from some sort of like, they had some basis for this, but no like medical exam basis for this.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and ask that doctor, like, maybe take a look with one of those microscopes, because it may be a tiny plastic shard wedged in my cornea. And I may be taking useless antibiotics for like 4 days while it just wedges deeper and deeper in there and burrows further. That's my lady love for this week. If you're in that very specific situation, get that plastic out of your cornea.
Get it
out of there. Do not leave it in there for like 3 days.
No. And also, maybe take the time to bedazzle your eye patch if you're into it.
I was going to glue a googly eye on there, but it was just...
That would be hilarious.
There was so much... I just couldn't get it together to get a googly eye.
I don't blame you.
I couldn't do it.
No.
Also, I couldn't drive because I had no depth perception.
Oh,
so I would have had to get somebody to drive me to the Google Eye.
Yeah, that's a friend in Alaska job. That's
David
not,
would have
that's
done
not a person
it,
wearing
but
the
he
eye
would have
patch
also
job.
been like, I already drove you to get the eye patch. Like, could you just...
I don't want to hit the craft store on the way.
Anyway.
All right, well, you know what? Your lady love is super valid. So
I'm sure at least one of you out there is in that situation, so. I
hope none of you are ever in that situation.
I agree.
All right. So, everybody, keeping a badass.
Wait.
Oh, no.
Heaving_bosoms on Twitter. Heaving
on Twitters.
Bosoms on Insta.
At Heaving Bosoms on Instagram.
Instagram. Heaving Bosoms Podcast on Facebook. Heaving Bosoms Podcast Geriatric Friendship Cult is the group page. Very fun. You should all be in it.
So fun.
heavingbosoms_podcast@gmail.com. heavingbosomspodcast.com. That website is way old right now, like 4 weeks old, but you can listen to older episodes, and you can, it's organized by category, and that's it, right?
Yeah, and if you want to become a patron, hit up patreon.com/heavingbosoms. We have bonus content up and a bunch of other stuff, so that should be fun. And so keep being a badass and love yourself as much as you love identifying characters with Erin.
Come on! First of all, that wasn't even the segment. It was basic character descriptions with Erin.
Sorry. Okay, so what do you want to do?
I'm a stickler for detail, if nothing else.
You are.
No, that's it.
Right,
that's fine.
Not.
Keep being a badass and love yourself as much as you love being able to correctly identify the race of the character, the state that the thing is taking place in. Like, I just don't know where I was at, but I only read it with one eye, guys, so that's what it was. I got 50% of the details. All right.
I love you tons.
I love
and I will chat to you soon.
All right. Bye, Mel.
Bye.
Hey, you. Yes, listener, you. Are you loving the show? If so, please leave a rating and review in your podcast app. The 90 seconds you take to say something nice not only helps new people find the show, but it makes me super smile over at HBHQ. Also, I've had a few people ask, and the answer is yes. We are still doing the 5-star bribe. If you leave us a review with 5 stars, then we'll do whatever book you want. We're real deep into the list, though, so it might be a while. Lilas! Okay, back to the show.